I'm just supporting in ways that I can, offer my skills and my experience, because I've been on many searches for missing and murdered Indigenous people.
Tonight, the search continues for 14-year-old Samuel Bird, who has been missing in Edmonton since June 1st.
I've never been face to face with a denier, but I've seen their comments.
Confronting residential school denialism with a new book by the woman who founded Orange Shirt Day.
The European perspective isn't necessarily what the Métis are experiencing.
And the retelling of Canada's fur trade through an Indigenous lens. Kansai, good evening. I'm Christinach Gite. Welcome to APTN National News. A command center has been set up on the bank of the North Saskatchewan River to help in the search for 14-year-old Samuel Bird. He has been missing since June 1st, and the Edmonton police just executed a search warrant in the case late last week. With more on this, here's APTN's Chris Stewart.
During the day, this command center is full with dozens of volunteers. Now, around 5 p.m., things are wrapping up for the day. It's a large area with a teepee, large tents, kitchen, and a sacred fire. It's to help volunteers and searchers in their efforts to find 14-year-old Samuel Bird, missing now nearly 4 months. People are searching the land and the North Saskatchewan River to find Samuel. And Alana Bird, Samuel's mother, is grateful for the help.
We have a lot of smudges, so people are welcome to come offer some tobacco to the fire or some medicine, and obviously to the water as well. And yeah, it's amazing. We have some searchers here with their dogs. We have like families that go out on their own every day, and it's really heartwarming.
The community has helped with supplies to support the search. And safety is a priority for those who brave the cold, deep river.
Any of the searches, we always make sure that we write like who's going out and then who comes back in, just for safety issues if someone maybe gets hurt out there. And yeah, we have like a lot of the donations come down here, like waters, Gatorades, food, for the volunteers and for the searchers as well.
Dakota Bear helped organize the command center. He searched for and found his brother's body in the South Saskatchewan River in 2022 in Saskatoon.
I'm just supporting in ways that I can, offer my skills and my experience, because I've been on many searches for missing and murdered Indigenous people. I do a lot of grassroots community work, and the story just resonated with me.
The Edmonton police confirmed to APTN that they executed a search warrant at a residence Thursday and would provide no further details. Alana is asking the public for help in finding her son.
I was just wanting to ask Edmonton and surrounding areas if someone has like an acreage or a farm, or even just driving down a back road, just to keep an eye out if you see anything on your farm or anything suspicious, or even if you smell something or your dog's been wanting to go that way, just to give it a quick look around your property. You never know. And obviously if anyone has any information, to please still come forward to the Edmonton Police.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
The Thunder Bay Police Service is conducting a landfill search as part of a homicide investigation into the death of an Indigenous woman. 42-year-old Deborah Anishinabie was reported missing in early December of 2024. Her death was confirmed by the Thunder Bay Police Service later that month. Police say they are working with the Ontario Provincial Police and the Anishinaabe-Aski Police Service in a search for partial human remains at the landfill. This effort follows a series of searches conducted earlier this year in a Southside Thunder Bay neighborhood. Thunder Bay Police says they are maintaining contact with the family in Sandy Lake. And the Anishinaabe-Aski Nation is asking for privacy for the family at this time. 24-year-old Levi Michael Lawson has been charged with second-degree murder and indignity to a human body in connection with the case. Chief Donald Smoke of Dakota Plains First Nation was facing 2 counts of sexual assault in a Saskatchewan court this spring. Earlier this month, those charges, however, were stayed. According to the RCMP, the charges were brought against Smoke in February in Kindersley, Saskatchewan, after more than one adult females alleged that he sexually assaulted them in June of 2024. Media reports say the Crown determined the case should not proceed after examining the evidence. 53-year-old Smoke is the hereditary chief of Dakota Plains First Nation, roughly 100 kilometers west of Winnipeg. Vandals attacked the office of a First Nation politician in Manitoba over the weekend. Pieces of scattered glass could still be found early Monday morning, left over from the transgression against the provincial minister. Wooden boards are covering up the smashed windows of MLA Fontaine's constituency office on North Main Street in Winnipeg. Winnipeg police say they are investigating the matter. The smashed windows come after months of calls from Manitobans of various political leanings for Fontaine's removal from cabinet. First, due to the comments she made about an American Sign Language interpreter working at an event she hosted, saying she should not have been on stage. And more recently, thanks to a social media blunder where Fontaine shared a post condemning recently assassinated American right-wing activist Charlie Kirk. Fontaine apologized both times. Premier Wabkanu has stood behind her following her apologies. A provincial spokesperson said Fontaine's constituency office will remain open and appointments for services can be scheduled through phone and email. The window to save Canada's wildlife is quickly closing, according to a new report from the World Wildlife Fund.
It's a collective human footprint on the landscape now accumulating now over decades. And so it's the continual, gradual increase of these species of conservation concern, which is indicative to me that the trend is going in the wrong direction.
The Living Planet report revealed the starkest drop in the populations since tracking began 2 decades ago. More than half of the species studied are decreasing in abundance, with the largest drop being seen in the grasslands. The WWF says urgent action is needed to expand protected areas in order to reverse the trend. There is a new player joining the real estate market in Quebec, known as Canada's first Indigenous commercial real estate agency. APTN's Stephanie Dusave was at the Panorama Agency launch.
Out of the 28,000 active real estate agencies in the country, Panorama is the first Indigenous commercial real estate agency in Canada and is changing the scope of the market in Quebec.
Lorsqu'on parle du mot panorama, on a aussi le synonyme panoramique, vue d'ensemble, vision à 360 degrés.
The agency offers rentals, sales, acquisitions, and urban planning consulting services. Benoit Loyer, a Mi'kmaq native of Listigouche, is the founder and CEO of Panorama. He sees many advantages for communities to do business with the agency.
On veut en quelque sorte devenir un bras externe de chacune des communautés en tout ce qui concerne l'immobilier. Donc, si les communautés veulent faire des développements soit à l'interne dans les communautés ou à l'extérieur, faire des acquisitions ou du développement.
The agency's position is unique.
Donc, on se voit aussi comme des connecteurs pour rassembler les peuples.
Loyer says he sees an entrepreneurial excitement in the communities. However, he points out that the housing crisis is hindering economic development.
Lorsqu'il n'y a pas d'espace de bureau pour que les entrepreneurs dans les communautés se rassemblent pour brainstormer, lancer leur pouce, leur business, bien, qu'est-ce qui arrive à ce moment-là? Bien, ça crée un ralentissement économique dans nos communautés. Donc l'immobilier, c'est un moteur justement pour propulser les futures générations et les jeunes entrepreneurs.
He wants his agency to support the leaders behind these projects. To make this happen, Loyer partnered with 2 experienced women, one of them being the former Grand Chief of Kahnawake.
We gave thanks to the trees that we had to cut down for giving up their lives so that we could have development, we could have growth, and we could evolve in this modern world that we're living in. So bringing that kind of perspective into commercial real estate is something that's not out there.
The ex-Grand Chief is convinced of the agency's success.
With Ben and I linking our 2 nations of the Mi'kmaq and the Mohawk combined with all of our knowledge, expertise, and together the three of us are just, I believe, a winning combination, and that there's no limit to what we can do and what we can achieve.
Loyer, for his part, is filled with a sense of pride.
La fierté d'avoir créé ça, mais après ça, d'ouvrir cette voie-là pour les autres qui vont suivre. Parce que souvent, c'est comme ça. Il y a une première, puis après ça, il y en a plein d'autres qui suivent. Fait que ça m'inspire.
Stéphanie Desèvres, APTN National News, Mohawk Territory, Ganawage.
We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. And to read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. And you can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow us at APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Phyllis Webstad is up next to talk about her new book in the hopes of stomping out residential school denialism. Plus,
hi there. The North Slave Métis Alliance in Yellowknife is holding their first gathering for the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Stay tuned as I sit down with Alliance members for their perspective on truth and reconciliation. That story only on APTN National News.
welcome back. Confronting residential school denialism. It's why two Indigenous women teamed up to write a new book called Decolonization and Me. The two women recently launched the book in Winnipeg. Here's more with T.R. Wheatley.
I wanted to say a big thank you to you both. I'm a junior high teacher.
It was a night to reflect and share the latest book from the founder of the Orange Book Story.
Wade Chochweda, Phyllis Webstad Rensquest, Stracham Chatlam Slakwan.
Phyllis Webstad and Métis scholar Christy McLeod joined forces last November to write Decolonization and Me. Released this month in time for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, it confronts residential school denialism.
I've never been face to face with a denier, but I've seen their comments. I know they say don't read the comments on Facebook, but I read the comments and I screenshot them.
And it's those screenshots that make up much of the dialogue throughout the book. The launch was moderated by Indigenous Studies professor Sean Carlton.
The bullying, the intimidation, the harassment. Why start off in that way?
Endeavor, I guess, to understand the denier mindset, because I know we aren't liars, and there are people alive today who have brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles who didn't come home.
The night had many in the audience engaged and sharing their own stories.
I'm an intergenerational survivor of the residential school. And I live in the north end of Winnipeg right now. We have a genocide going on with all the methamphetamine, what they call down, the fentanyl, the crack cocaine, the mass incarceration of our youth, the mass unemployment.
While some had words of advice for denialists.
And read all the documents that talk about us having to go to these schools for 100 years. 100 years. Can you even fathom that? Probably not. So decolonize, my favorite subject. I'm telling you, anybody that's ready to talk to me, I'm here anytime. So for me, decolonization is rewinding.
Christy McLeod says the book is an easy read and is broken down into 4 parts.
That first part of the book is really addressing denialism and denial and what that looks like. And for me, then the next stage of my journey, acknowledge that something happened. And so that stage of acknowledgement isn't really about bringing it into my heart yet, but it's in my head, and I'm acknowledging that. The next portion is about accepting it and really trying to figure out in my heart, what does that mean? What does that mean to me, and how do I move forward within that? And then the final part of the book is about moving forward together. So what does this look like collectively? How do we walk this path?
A path that Webstad and McLeod continued to walk on in response to the TRC's 94 calls to action.
I'm really looking forward to sharing it with my students,
while encouraging others to walk with them. T.R. Wheatley, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Governor General Mary Simon granted a number of Order of Canada designations this week. 7 Indigenous people are amongst the latest recipients. APTN's Fraser Needham caught up with 2 of them during the awards ceremony at Rideau Hall in Ottawa. Here's that story.
Governor General Mary Simon handed out 60 Order of Canada awards on Thursday. Josephine Bacon was appointed an officer of the Order of Canada for her efforts in revitalizing the Inuit language through poetry, teaching, and translation.
It's the most important to speak my language, my own language, to be a really new woman. If I don't speak my language, I'll be me, but without speaking my identity.
Bacon says preserving the language has become more challenging over the years as young people move away from land-based roles like hunting and fishing to Western jobs such as doctors and lawyers. But she says she has no doubt the language will survive.
Oui, bien sûr, oui. It has to be. That's why I'm teaching. That's why I speak to young people, so it's sacred. It's like going to the church. It's very important.
Leona Irons Cummings has also been appointed as a member of the Order of Canada for her contributions as Executive Director of the National Aboriginal Land Managers Association on the Curve Lake First Nations near Peterborough, Ontario.
This kind of hard work, we have to build, capacity and knowledge to our people, especially in land management. And so it's a tough job because we have to abide by 3 types of laws. And my understanding is that we have to contend with the natural law, our traditional laws, and then the legal laws.
Irons Cummings says Indigenous land management can be a complex process, and this is why her organization takes a ground-up approach to training.
We've developed a certification program for land managers to be certified in land management, and we also offer specialized training, which is takes things specific to land management, and urban reserve, additions to reserve, is one of our key toolkits. So if a nation comes to us, we'd certainly, help them in understanding the process of those kinds of things.
Kent Monkman.
Some of the other Indigenous Order of Canada recipients this week include artist Kent Monkman, Thomas Cunningham Wilson, and educator Richard Hill. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
An Inuit artist recently had their work on display all the way in Brazil. That story when we come back. Stay with us. Plus, a play about the fur trade from a woman's perspective.
Frances Concan, the playwright of Women of the Fur Trade, wrote a satiric play about the women in the fur trade. What would it be if women wrote about the history?
Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Fran Etzel sent this amazing shot of the Northern Lights as they danced over her hunting cabin located near Ross River, Yukon. Thanks for sharing that beautiful picture, Fran. Send us your pictures to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Time now to take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. On the East Coast, St. John 17, Halifax 21 and sunny. Happy Valley, Goose Bay 13, Nain 7. Saguenay 20, Quebec City 21. Toronto 25 and sunny, Sarnia 22. 19 in Sioux Lookout, Wawa 17. 20 in Norway House, God's Lake, sunny and 22. Winnipeg 21, Barons River 16. Saskatoon 27, Regina 24. Buffalo Narrows 19 and sunny, La Ronge 20. Fort McMurray 18, Peace River 16. 26 in Lethbridge, 24 in Edmonton. 17 in Tofino, Bella Coola 7. Fort Nelson 18, Prince George 13. 9 in Whitehorse, Mayo 7. Fort Simpson 13, Wati 9 in Showers. Partly cloudy in Sax Harbor at 1, Paulatuck 2. RV at 15, Chesterfield 13 and sunny. And Iqaluit 7, Gulick +8. The work of an Inuk artist from Nunavut is on display at a major art exhibit in Brazil. Juvenai Ashuna's work was selected for the 36th annual Bienal de São Paulo in São Paulo, Brazil. Ashuna is a graphic artist from Kingite, Nunavut, who is best known for her drawings depicting Arctic landscapes and Inuit culture and mythology. The Bienal Contemporary Art Exhibit is one of the most significant in Latin America. This year's exhibit, Not All Travelers Walk Roads of Humanity as Practice, explores rethinking humanity as a verb and reimagining relationships. The exhibit runs from September 6th to January 11th. A play about women of the fur trade set in the 1800s is about to open in Vancouver. And as APTN's Ryan Cunningham reports, this play takes a different look from a woman's perspective.
My husband can take it and bring it east. Who's Jehoshaphat, the fourth king of Judah? Why do you know that? You're not Jewish. This is the fur trade.
At this rehearsal for Women of the Fur Trade, a satire about 3 women stuck in a fort during Louis Riel's Red River Rebellion and the rapidly changing world of the Canadian fur trade. Director Renai Morisseau speaks to us about the production.
Frances Concan, the writer, the playwright of Women of the Fur Trade, wrote a satiric play about the women in the fur trade. What would it be if women wrote about the history of the Red River Métis Rebellion? And when you talk about the Métis, the European, and the Anishinabie or Ojibwe, as it is in the play, it's that confluence of interpretations of how history sits. And sometimes the European perspective isn't necessarily what the Métis are experiencing or what the Anishinabie understand as their land.
Although it's set in the past, the characters are right out of 2025, even singing hit pop songs. The play takes history and interprets the events through a modern lens.
I think what's really important about the story is that for any story you have to have an amazing group of actors. Kalumpa Bob, Sherry Miracle, Kelsey Wavy, Jonathan Fisher, and Victor Hunter. And I think for all of them, we're coming together to bring joy to the stage here in Vancouver.
Women of the Fur Trade runs from September 24th to October 4th at the Frederick Wood Theatre on the UBC campus. Ryan Cunningham, APTN National News, Vancouver.
If you're in Vancouver, make sure to go check that out. And that's your daytime newscast. We're back again tomorrow for your daytime newscast. Please join us then. From our HQ in downtown Winnipeg and from our reporters from across the country, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again. Excellent.